Welcome to Working with Languages. My name is Sonia Kampshoff. I'm your host and a digital marketing consultant. My guest today is Wesley Vendeville, who is originally from the Netherlands. When he left the Dutch Air Force after 16 years, he was not sure what to do next. So he took a gap year, and after that he looked for a job he could do remotely, one that would fit around his new lifestyle. And by doing so, he became a language coach and business owner. This is an honest conversation about moving from one chapter of life to the next, leaning on his transferable skills and building a meaningful life. Let's dive in. Today's guest on the podcast is Wesley Vendeville, who is a Dutch language and culture coach. Not just a teacher, but really a coach, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. But first of all, hello, Wesley.
Hello, Sonia. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here. As you know, I like to start the podcast asking my guests what I call a fun question. What is your favorite word or phrase in a language that you speak?
Yeah, that's a funny one. I will go with the Dutch one, uitwaaien.
What does it mean?
Yeah, uitwaaien. It's very weird to translate probably, but the meaning is that you go to the beach and you let the wind get you.
What do you mean?
So you go to the beach. Normally, when it's windy, people stay home. But Dutch people, they have a thing. They like to go to the beach or to a place where they can enjoy the wind and just let the wind be. So all your worries will go away, all your thoughts will go away, and that's what the word uitwaaien means. It means to blow out, which is translates horribly in English, probably. But uitwaaien means that you go to a place and you stand in the wind and just let it be. You let the wind take your worries away.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's so you can either spend a lot of money on a good psychologist or a therapy or a yoga session, which is all lovely. But one can also go to the beach when it's almost storming and just stand there, lekker uitwaaien.
Nice. Very nice.
Maybe a storm is a bit over too much here, but
very nice. I've never heard of that expression anywhere.
Yeah. I think you need to be a little bit crazy for that. So in the Dutch way of crazy, maybe that's a good one.
Yeah. So you are Dutch. Is that where you grew up, in the Netherlands?
Yeah, I grew up in the Netherlands. Yes. I've spent my whole life, the biggest part of my life in the Netherlands. I grew up in a province called Zeeland. It's in the southwest of the Netherlands. Notorious for having a nice storm every now and then.
It's on the beach, isn't it? It's on the coast.
Yeah. Yes, it has a beautiful coastline. So when people think about beaches in the Netherlands, they think about populated places. Zandvoort, Scheveningen, the really crowdy ones, the ones that you Google hotspots, then you will go there. But Zeeland has very nice, quite calm beaches. Apart from the summer, of course, where we have a lot of tourists, an invasion of tourists in the summer. But apart from that, it's nice and calm.
Great. So tell us about your upbringing, your career. I know you had a first career and now you have your second career. What did that look like?
Yeah, so my career is not really a typical one, I would say. I started my career off in the military, in the Dutch Air Force. I spent almost half a year there. I spent 16 years in the military. That's a long time. Made me to the man who I am now, I would say. I had ups and downs there. But eventually I transitioned to what I'm doing right now, and that's having my own language school in Talk Dutch Today. So nowadays I help expats, professionals, and everybody who needs it to become fluent in the Dutch language and comfortable in the Dutch language, whether that's for work, social activities, or for integration purposes, or just to get by in daily life.
So you said you spent 16 years in the Air Force, which is quite a long time, and it's quite a different job and career than the one you have now. So what made you change, and what are the skills that you could take over from the Air Force, from the military, into your new coaching career?
Well, in the military, language is a very big part, not as much as language skills as English, German, Spanish, Dutch, but like communication skills. That's very important. I think that's one of the biggest traits I take from my career in the military. I've worked quite some in NATO as well, where you have to deal with a lot of different cultures, different languages, but also different attitudes, different habits. Everybody does things their own way. And you need to be able to adapt, integrate. You need to find your way in that lifestyle.
Do you find that the Air Force and the military in general, do they put a lot of training and emphasis on communication and cross-cultural communication?
That's a very good question. No, I think the military is very, may I say, pragmatic. The military is pretty straightforward when it comes to that. You need to get your point across, and it needs to be done in a short time and concise and very precise. So I don't feel like there is a lot of focus on cultural differences, for example. Apart from the programs, for example, Americans have when they come to Europe, they are being informed, okay, things work a little bit different in Europe than in the States. This and this are the differences. But that's very local, I would say.
Okay. You mentioned you also worked for NATO for a while. Do they do it differently? Because there's a lot more cultures among the people
Yes.
working at NATO.
Yes, well, where I worked on in Geilenkirchen, as an Air Force base. I flew AWACS there for a couple of years, not as a pilot, but as an aircrew. I was a surveillance operator there. No, I haven't seen much of that. You really need to have it in you to be able to understand the different cultures, or willing to adapt and learn and observe. And that's what I always found fascinating about working with different cultures, languages, that you actually can learn a lot from them.
Yeah. Do you have any anecdotes that you can share about things that maybe went wrong or went right, but were a bit funny?
Yeah, I do have anecdotes. I have a lot of anecdotes. You see that Dutch persons are a lot direct, very direct, and that can cause sometimes a little conflict with, for example, an Italian person or a Spanish person that is not as straight to the point as a German or a Dutch person. And I would say that nowadays hierarchy is also pretty flat in
In
the
the
Dutch.
military?
Yeah, in the military, at least where I worked, the hierarchy was pretty flat. Of course, you respect your elder, you respect your superior, but you can call your commander by the first name often. This is something that's unheard of in the US Air Force, for example. But this also counts for giving feedback or unsolicited advice, like advice that nobody asked for. Dutch persons, I think, are pretty notorious for that, to standing up or speaking up for something that's on their plate, let's say. And this can cause sometimes a friction when you do that with an Italian or a Spanish or doesn't matter superior, somewhere where the hierarchy is less flat.
Interesting. And now that you are coaching expats, and I'm assuming that you're mostly coaching business people, so not expats in terms of army people moving to different places, but you're coaching mostly business people.
Yes, my clients are indeed usually in corporations like Shell, Beiersdorf, Shimano, Heineken, those companies. Indeed, yeah.
And there are business people who come from other countries to the Netherlands, work for a certain period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And you find there's a good crossover from what you learned in your first career to what you're doing now in terms of communication, also, flat structure or not flat structure.
Yeah, it's strange. It sounds like the military is, of course, way more direct and less empathic. But I think I have the empathic side in me, so to say. But yes, I find it very, very useful to have this experience in NATO to understand how other cultures work, how people communicate. It's often about details that you can't learn from any textbook. I think you need to experience this.
Tell us more about your second career now. How did it come about? How did you get the idea, and how did it develop in what it is today?
So after 16 years in the military, I really had to stop. It was also my body, my mind telling me enough is enough. And I had a lot of signals for that. I started to make mistakes in my work and really, really serious mistakes during a simulation in a flight. We had a simulated exercise, a simulated emergency. We always did that during the flight to train your drills. Like if something happens, what do you do? Everybody has their action, everybody has their checklist, everybody has their reaction, what they need to do. Everybody has their protocol. And you do this every flight. So it's a routine. So in case something happens, you know what to do. A simulated emergency starts, and I found myself in a complete stress reaction. So your body goes, it freezes, or your fight or your flight. I froze. I didn't know what to do anymore. And that lasted for, in my mind, 6, 7, 8, 9 seconds. And I was too late with everything. Everybody died, simulated. Nobody died in real. It was a simulation. And that was my fault. So I thought, okay, this is a serious sign that it's not going anymore. So this was very openly my reason to stop the military.
Yeah. And it's interesting to see that a simulation like this, the first purpose of it is to train you to have a fake situation that could actually happen in real life and train you in it. But
Yes.
it also has a secondary benefit of, just seeing where you are mentally and physically with your body. And if anything like this happen, you can catch it actually beforehand.
Yeah, but it's not what I mean. Do you really do that? That's what I wonder. Do you really do that? Like in life, when you get signs, do you stop and say, okay, this is enough? Because we all know the signs. Everybody has been or close to a burnout or to some kind of a level that you don't function anymore. I mean, I think most people can relate.
So then you decided to quit the Air Force, your first career, and after a break, you decided to become a language teacher.
Yeah, that sounds funny, isn't it?
It's certainly a different career.
Yeah, it is a different career. Yeah, so we checked that. Now, I started off at Berlitz as a language instructor, a Dutch language instructor, and that went very well. I mean, I loved it. I loved the people. I loved the work. I could work from home. So after my recovery, that was a fortunate thing. But because being in the military, you're quite some time. And now I could actually provide from the safety of my own house. I didn't have to commute. It was wonderful. And this escalated to where we are right now. I don't need to tell anybody that working for a corporation as a freelance was not quite ideal. Let's keep it like
So
that.
you were freelancing at Berlitz.
I was freelancing at Berlitz, but it went so well that people asked me, "Hey, can you teach my son in the weekends?" And I said, "No, no, 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 no. I work for Berlitz. I am an extreme loyal golden retriever. Like, no, no, I work there. Having served 16 years in the military, I think I know a thing about two of being loyal. So no, I didn't. And I had many, many, many questions, and I never did it. I worked very hard, and all the statistics, all the KPIs went through the roof, but the compensation wasn't quite there. And I moved in the meanwhile to Turkey. It's not a secret that often corporations pay according to location. It's not nice to say, but apparently that's how it goes. So I experienced that, and I was like, okay, I'm a freelancer. I'm not tied to anything. I'm going to start my own business. This is something I can do and I'm pretty good at. I'm going to help people via my own platform. And this is how it started.
So you now have your own business and you have your own clients. Is there a lot of word of mouth? Do people refer you
Yes.
on saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, I learned my language with Wesley. He's good," and refer you on essentially?
Yes, this is actually how it grew really fast. Word of mouth. Yeah. In the beginning, there wasn't a website. There was not. There was nothing. Now there is everything. There is a website. I worked with the marketing. I worked with learning and development specialists to set up syllabi. We have everything now. But in the beginning, it was only word of mouth.
So you now have even your own books for teaching language and culture.
Yes, but not published yet. We are working on it.
Okay, that sounds very exciting.
Yes, the Q1 next year. You'll be the first one I will send a copy to.
Thank you. I'd love that.
The first one is going to be a culture book, but a little bit in a funny style. So to give a little insight, it's going to be quirky Dutch cultural habits that nobody really talks about out loud, but we do it in a book.
That sounds good. I've had a look at your LinkedIn and I can see that you publish quite regularly ideas and examples of these quirky habits of Dutch people.
Yes, it's going to be something like this. It's going to be a collection of those things and more. When I first worked with my marketing specialist, she really helped me. Her name is Patricia. If you listen, you're awesome. And we found each other through LinkedIn, by the way. I found her. One of her posts resonates with me. I was like, hey, that's the person that's me. Like, we should do something together. So we worked together for nearly 6 months, and yeah, it was great. She asked me, what is your favorite social media? And I said, well, you can as well ask me, what is your favorite eye disease? I don't like it at all. I don't like social media. But I have to say, LinkedIn proved me wrong. If you may count it as a social media, LinkedIn is awesome.
I can see you're quite active there, yes.
Yeah, it's great. The community is awesome. Farm people, a lot of collaborations, sharing knowledge, sharing interests. It's wonderful.
Great. So, do you only teach from English to Dutch, or do you cover any other languages?
I don't cover any other languages. So we teach Dutch. I teach Dutch. I say we because we are currently expanding as well. But no, it's Dutch. Yeah, and if it can be done in a Dutch way, we do it mostly in Dutch. If we need English, we need English. That's fine, or a little bit of German. That's also fine.
What are your plans for the business? You said you're bringing out your own coursework and next year, and you're expanding to new teachers and coaches. How do you see it expanding and engaging with more clients who need this kind of coaching and training?
Well, I think this is going to be very, very awesome. It's going to be an awesome journey. The clientele we have now is they are amazing people. They bring in new people. So what I focus on is not just teaching Dutch, but in a personalized way. So let's say if you want to learn Dutch, I would like to know why. Is it for your work? Is it for social integration? Is it for exam? And we built the coursework especially for you. So the coursework will be heavily personalized, but not only to your goals, but also to what kind of a person are you? How do you learn? We also adapt to that. So there is not one size fits all program, but it requires a lot from the teacher or coach in this case to understand the client, to understand the client's needs.
What kind of ways of learning can you see in your clients?
Ooh, some persons they like to read. Some people like to. I have quite some engineers in where you can almost make language like a formula. Like you can make a sentence and you can make a formula out of it, and all of a sudden it clicks. Okay, that's why this word is coming there and this word there. So we are looking at this level of personalization. And to get back at your previous question, because I think I forgot to answer that in my enthusiasm about this, I'm looking for more teachers, coaches with the superpower empathy, adaptability. I'm looking for people that are really into helping other people achieving their goals their way. This is what I really want. So I'm not looking for a perfect teacher. I dare to say that I'm not a perfect teacher myself. It's not about this. It's people want to feel understood. People want to feel helped in their way.
Is that what you think makes you a good teacher?
Yeah, I think the social and the interpersonal skills are really, really important in this business. We're dealing with adults. We're not kids. Everybody has their life. Everybody has their career. Everybody is something. It's not about being perfect. It's about being natural and being understood. I think that's what makes me. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird to say about yourself, but successful. Things are going very good. People are very happy. So it's amazing.
Is it what you would have expected straight after the military?
No, I remember my intake with a recruiter of Berlitz, and my camera didn't work. It was my bad. It was my fault. And she said, yeah, I just wanted to check. Are you from the military? What is this? And my camera didn't work. And I said, yep. All right. She said, then I think I need to pause because we don't need that kind of people. I said, but if you give me a second and my camera works, you can see I'm relatively a normal person, nice person. And I think it should work. Yeah, no, it's not what I expected after the military, Sonia.
How long do your students stay with you? Do you coach people for months, or is it maybe even years?
Some are there for only a short period of time. It also depends on their goals. All right. Are they already at a certain level, and do they have an interview to pass or an exam to take? Then we can do it relatively quick. But then again, some people take a little bit longer because they take one lesson a week or 1.5 hour a week. And, business trips happen. People are sick. I have kids. Everybody has a life. If something happens, then yeah, it can take a bit longer. So some people stay for, I don't know, I have people for 2 years and they progress slowly, but that's okay. They don't have a hard targets. And sometimes we have really hard deadlines. Okay, the exam needs to be done before this and this date. Okay, let's go. Let's do it. That's wonderful. Or I have an interview on Monday, very unexpectedly. I'm at this level. Can you help me for a few hours? Sure, we can mock it. We can role play. This is what we do a lot. We role play a lot based on the client's needs. Yeah, I read into the vocabulary. What do they need in the specific vocabulary? Some people work in finance, other has a management function. Others needs to do yearly progress talks. So it's a bit of everything.
Interesting.
Yeah. No, I mean, yes, I find it. I mean, I can talk for hours about this, but this is wonderful. People from all over the place with different functions, and being able to help them in their work, in their vocabulary. Some people get a promotion out of this, or some people show me their exam overview and they passed everything. All the integration exams are on green. It's the best message you can give. I always tell people, when you do an exam, it's also my exam. And I really take it serious. When people have an exam to pass, you bet I'm going all in to help you with it.
At the coursework that you developed, is it printed or is it online? Do you use a specific software?
No, we made it. It's in our Notion, in our page, let's say, our company page. We have it internally. It's not published, but it's our syllabus based on European standards reference to guide somebody from 0 to A2. Because also, yeah, we basically made a whole onboarding system, or my learning and development specialist, Marina, if you listen, you're brilliant. It's also for the new coaches. Yeah, they need to have guidance. They need to have something to hold on to say, okay, we go from this chapter to this chapter. It doesn't mean that is a one size fits all approach, because you still need to see how you can help this person best. Okay, you need to go from A to B. You need to be able to introduce yourself. But how you do this, how you teach this, is also based on the client's needs, or the students in this case. Yeah.
Do you use any specific technology other than having video calls with them?
Yeah, I use AI a lot for developing the nice cartoons. I prompted GPT, very nice, for my cartoon series. So it's the style is always the same. It's always universal. So when I have an idea about a Dutch word, or about something that needs to be addressed, or something that I have on my mind, I don't know, some inspiration for a post, I can give the command to GPT. You really need to give it good guidance, good instructions, which they call prompting. Yeah, and that's set up nice. So that's what I use. Yeah.
And do you use the cartoons? I can see them on LinkedIn. Do you use them in your coursework as well?
They're going to be, maybe. Yeah.
Sounds really good. And do you use AI in your personal life as well, or try to keep a distance?
No, I use it for my personal life as well, and I don't trust the AI blindly, but to structure ideas, I like to use it for that. I often have, I don't know when you have your best ideas popping up, but when those ideas pop up, I need to put it in GPT, and or in a notepad, or anywhere. But later I will upload it to GPT and I start to brainstorm how to structure this. What am I looking at? How can I get there? And I find it very helpful. So yeah, that's how I use it, I think.
As a companion.
Yes, but also I prompted that don't say only yes, like argue, like give me pros, cons, look at it objectively. Don't say, oh, Wes, this is a brilliant idea. No, I don't want to hear that, because it has a tendency of doing that, right?
Yeah, it does compliment you a lot.
The most things I've learned is from really hard and honest feedback. So as far as AI comes, look at it from 10 different angles, please. And then I will form my opinion myself. It can also be useful for if you need quick input for a lesson. It can also be, or a reference, or if you need inspiration. Yeah, I find it very nice.
And where can people find you online?
People can find me on LinkedIn and a website.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time and your chat, Wesley.
It was a pleasure, Sonia, and looking forward to speak to you again anytime soon.
Great. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Not all veterans go on to become language teachers or coaches. The Air Force taught Wesley good communication skills and an understanding of how to achieve goals. His language coaching is tailored to his students, and that is the cornerstone of his success and why he gets referred on so often. He turned burnout into a new successful career, and that is admirable. If you enjoyed this conversation, please follow and subscribe to the podcast, and share it with a friend who may enjoy it too. And if you'd like to suggest a guest or want to know more about sponsorship, please get in touch at the email in the show notes.